bạn udah jangan main nih pas dibagi lihat kayak lang usa yung mga madibagi sa li kayo ni basiji ya ma ni madibasiji ya
Stay down. No drape. Dagira. Nama daging ara. Habe dagira kainga. Nisi kuko tuan ken orena de nama tuan tang orena. Kan nama ike tai ai. Sis net ko masna ko ai ko ako. Karibas ne uat makabe. Ngai kon kira karibasan. An karibasan re. Tikui tanimi tikuiti. Nia huyete.
Nara melons have been harvested by the people here for generations. Archaeological evidence has shown that people were extracting seeds from the fruit as early as 8,000 years ago. Today, little remains of the ancestral hunting and gathering lifestyle of 8,000 years ago, yet the harvesting of Nara as a natural resource has endured.
A red one. Zit kumura. Kaya auro.
hari euro bangun habis gitu ana
The harvest is packed up to be taken back to the local settlement. The fruit and seeds will be prepared and processed before consumption. Anna lives with her family at Sultrafir, a small settlement at the edge of the Namib sand dunes. The morning's harvest of melons are to be buried under the hot sand to ripen further.
What our decision right now is the ground is a little bit wet due to the rain that we have in last 2 weeks. What we can do is we need to set up a dry ground underneath, like a layer down in the hole, and after the hole we pack the melons inside there.
The melons are usually buried for 2 to 3 days. The hot desert sun heats the sand, accelerating the ripening process. The Aun in Topnaar live in small, scattered settlements along the banks of the Quiseb River. This river can run dry for years at a time. Infrequent flow from heavy rainfall further inland occasionally reaches the desert interior. Flash flooding seeps under the sandy riverbed and rests in an aquifer, enabling the growth of trees and vegetation along this linear oasis. This source of permanent underground water has enabled the Topnaar to subsist in these marginal lands for generations. Traditionally, water was accessed via manually dug wells. Now, solar-powered boreholes are used to extract and pump the water. The Topnaar mostly keep donkeys, sheep, goats and cattle. The daily herding of goats usually occurs in the dry riverbed.
Just take the small ones in the crowd because they cannot go to the field. It's the sun too hot. They cannot manage to stay in the river. Okay, we are going now. If they are running like this, they are not eating. So you have to stop him so that they can stand and eat. That's the main purpose. Hey, hey! Stop, hey! They know, okay, someone is talking to us. So we don't go further, so you can stand here. If they are running to this side, if I say, yeah, they are just going back.
Livestock subsists mainly on a diet of leaves, scraps of dry vegetation and seed pods. Seed pods on the trees are available year-round, a vital source of nutrients for the animals. Despite the river appearing dry, tree roots are able to extend deep underground to reach the water. Without these trees, there would simply not be enough food to raise livestock here.
That's the way.
At the end of long dry spells, such as in 2017, the desert is mostly devoid of grass. Livestock are pushed to the limits of survival. After enough rainfall, as seen here the following year, the desert plains and interdune areas transform into grasslands. The cattle are quick to take advantage of this rare sustenance, gorging themselves in preparation for the tough months ahead. Situated along the river, neighbouring Topnaar settlements, Gobobeb has served as a scientific research station for over 50 years. Eric Shenengeyamwe, a Namibian master's student, is conducting his research here. Eric is working closely with the Topnaar, attaching GPS tracking collars to their cattle to better understand movement patterns and foraging behaviour in the desert environment.
Today we are going to Homeb, which is a Topnaar settlement up ahead. We are going to set collars on the cows just to track their movement and also see where they have been and where they are actually heading. In the recent past, we've been having a lot of livestock losses due to either, this climatic change, drought, or also predation or theft. And we've been always having a lot of complaints on how we can better solve this. So when we use now tracking or using collar data, we sort of have an idea of how these animals are utilizing the rangeland, sort of have an idea of where these animals are moving to and where they are coming from and why they prefer those specific areas. So with that information, helps farmers to solve that burden of having livestock loss.
Hey! Hey, manga! Hey, manga! Hey, manga! 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 Hey, hey, manga! Hey, manga!
Let me try this one. Swab, yes. This is how it's done. You put at least a hand here, let 4 fingers be in here. That way it's loose and even when it's swallowing, it doesn't harm the animal. Then it's a bit loose. And from there, that's it.
Further back downriver at Anna's home in Sotrafair, the Nara Melons have been ripening away under the hot sand for 2 days. Now ripe, the fruits are dug up to be prepared and cooked.
Rosi dagni. Tomaro daranti. Am di atain. Tina dagni barata. So tine am kuzura. Mungsenan. Nena dagni barata. Tida dagni na sain. Nena ni sain. Sain ti dagni. Kam arai ni kam arai daga kurus to agribe daga ho abetake ne ba khuni di ne za khuni
Otskitanika.
ta kun khabu
Kami dia. Yeah, we cook.
no kairo mkini is kuroya no mai dan ai sa ibe da huni skira huni stahnya skira sih na hutsi Ini sih nego type, ini sih sangat boba. sisancararona la oh itancararona ngacausi kabira minta arana kabira minta arana so chida ke nena ni sisa horo tui tira horo airan ama ho ho dugo aimda sor taubi tim moka bi ada tam ai bingan serati ike
Kom.
nama coklat
Nama coklat iki.
mati ari rosukui oba si idira di chike timke kwaneni madiko thedika kwaneni
Nige. Abra. Cheskuja. Ngari ka kata de ora cheskuja. Tai ka. Auro ka ora kam cheru ngin. Kalki tolsin kamsa. Tolsin kamsa.
Ni tina adi kura kwe anga kusatskirai tike ne kamara
Aite kami kirang wa.
kamingirang wa
Tike ngai ngata ja gwe o tike ngai. Oro kaskuja.
ketske ne ni sisa ni dira roll kai aba hotskira
Aku cegau. Ate gau. Step rona. Ngade kwa ka. Ngade tuja kwa ka.
adi akwa
Nara idi nama coklat iki.
nama chocolate chocolate
The next day, Eric and his assistants are trekking to find a previously collared cow that has been gathering data for almost a month.
So the cows are coming up to come in and graze on this Tipagrosti ciliata, which is quite palatable. We are busy trying to find them, so we climbed here assuming that they are probably on top of the interdune area here in the middle. So as you can see, we don't see any of the cows here, so we are going to try another spot just to see if we can find them. So the idea of trekking now, this is where it comes in place. You can imagine a farmer is looking for his cows and he cannot seem to find them. And it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of effort looking for the cows. It's a lot of fuel costs. So if they have callers and they download that information, they always end up having an idea of where the cows are. What they need to take is just the GPS coordinates and enter them into the GPS system, and they will search. Makes things very easy to find the cows, unlike this. I think they are still not here. I see one cow there. This one is the mother, this one. As you can see, there is a noise that is coming from the transceiver. That means it's busy downloading data from the collar. So currently I'm busy just downloading, so I just need to get close to the cows, and then eventually the transceiver that I use picks up the collar and instantly downloads all the data that is in the collar that has been there for at least a month. Okay, this one is 2008-9. So I've been tracking animals for at least 4 or 5 months now. And in these 5 months, basically what we have thought about is, looking at patterns before the rainfall and patterns after the rainfall. So in April, April is actually these red dots here. And in this the red dots indicate that it was completely dry. So when there was no grass, the animals were focusing more in the riverbed. And they were just following the riverbed and not going out of the riverbed at all, feeding on trees instead of grass. In May, when it started, late May, when it started raining, which is these blue dots here, the animals started coming out of the riverbed and they started going on the interdune area. There is grass here when it rains, so the animals are, starting to focus on grazing instead of browsing.
After several months of accumulating data, Eric has enough to present to locals at Natab, a settlement that neighbours the research station 5 kilometres away.
In Namibia we have what we call indigenous knowledge, and then it's everywhere in all the cultures that we have in Namibia. And for the Topnaars, I would say they have that knowledge of keeping animals in very harsh conditions. This area here, Klipnes, it doesn't have good grass. Even if it rains, there's no grass here. It means that the animals started moving out of the river. This Topnaar, they also have Nara, which is one of their most secret plant that they use for medicine and also for food. So we are trying to sort of also know where these animals are and if they are utilizing or they are feeding on these Naras. We can sort of have build up a good way of managing both of these resources without depleting them.
The cooked Nara has been drying in the sun at Anna's home for several days now and is ready to be eaten.
Oh, see. About again, Hara Quintin Ada. Sang an a sinara. Mahuro. De Ikerakan. Auroi abai Gerakara. Tai abai Kesubuse. Noi bauga uma hui out. Fine. Sin wasta como otskera hubara ube karo sinarahi wasta ha oikiran huha otskera anu karo tita kirati sin abahusa ati ukanti titiro kini titi sikatira umbi kenigia kakui tarangaran hukna ui huigiane. Ngara ikui te tui ngaku kauneiran.
This is where you have got the hard life. This is an area that you must have that knowledge to survive. It is not an area where you easily survive like areas with high rainfalls, giving much more opportunities for farming. This is a very difficult area. It's experience, coming a very long way. It's like custom that the people believe their knowledge is the most powerful tool and the most powerful empowerment to survive in this desert.
Bagutin Nara